Out here in my garage, my brand new Lamborghini. Now, you know there's something more that I like than materialistic things? Knowledge. Nope. Today, we're going to be drilling a hole in our transmission in order to make it work in the MR2. In the meantime, kick back, relax, grab a cold one. I'll get you guys set up on the camera over there, and I'll meet you back here on the desk. I just want to put this quick side note in there. Besides this part right here and this one right here, this is going to be the bell crank and the shift lever. Every one of the parts you can still find brand new, and the links are going to be in the description. Now, one thing's for true. I don't know if both of these could work from an S54. I got them both from an E153 like I just said before. There is a possibility. Somebody smarter than me with the MR2s, leave a comment, let me know, because it would probably help somebody out if they're converting. Right, so after going on the internet, pressing some keys, this is what showed up. Look how shiny my shaft is. No, seriously, the machine works actually really good. And I got some goop and a aluminum cap with a rubber O-ring. It's actually Loctite. We're putting it on there just to make sure it doesn't leak. So not only did Alex develop the shift assembly itself, he also developed one of these. This is a template you're supposed to use with a 5/16 drill bit. You literally just take the drill bit, slide it into there, stick it onto your screw gun, and drill a hole in your transmission. Next up, I got this bracket right here. This is from a used E153. William Raceworks makes his own exact version of this. Unfortunately, I know this part for a fact won't work from an S54 because this step doesn't exist there. It's just completely straight across. And I'll pan the camera over there. As you can tell, there's a step on the bolt pattern where this is supposed to go. And unfortunately, it's not there on the S54. So you can't use that part. This guy right here, you can't really use the transmission without it. The length on this is longer because the E series, they have a narrow and a wide E. A wide E series was what was included in the MR2. The factory bracket is shorter, it's about that big. And the narrow, I mean, it's narrower, so this guy has to compensate for it. That was the whole point of him designing this bracket. And finally, I got this bad boy. I'm going to be using this mount as the upper transmission mount just due to the fact that if you were to go online and buy a used bracket and a used mount, it almost costs the same amount as buying a brand new part from Frankenstein Motorworks. So I think I made the right decision and I got this beautiful work of art. Right, now that I showed you everything I'm using, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so this part of the video might get a little technical just due to the fact that there's a lot of little details that go into the shift assembly. I'm going to be like showing it step by step, not really going into too much detail, because when you're taking this off, the best way to actually do it is to remove it from the shift shaft that came off of and put it onto the new one exactly how it came. Now, there is a couple extra lines on the new shift shaft that you are going to get from Wilhelm Raceworks. If you are doing this at the same time as I am, they're for the E153. You're going to want to use the lower set for the E351. Now that you got a gist of what's about to happen, let's get into it. Yep, I realize that's probably a lot to take in a short amount of time. So what I'm going to do is a little summarization of what we have going on as the final result of what you should show up with. So moving right along, at the end of it, I got the shift cap back in. This is just the green thread blocker, as you can see right on the outside edge. And then this is the original cap. I'm going to go back and like take this back out and put some RTV on here instead of using the original paper gasket style stuff. This is just the reverse shifter. This is going to be not touched at all whatsoever. And then all you do is just take that entire shift shaft and you're going to slide it into the transmission as shown in the video earlier. Right here, you're going to be installing the shift lever onto a little gap on the shift mechanism that kind of looks like this. And then this is the bell crank and then the shift bracket. You're just going to be putting these in with the two bolts that are already there on the transmission. Put them in, good to go. There's a 12mm bolt on the bottom of this. You're going to be tightening up. And then I put the brass bushing that goes in right there at the end of my fingertip back into the transmission shift lever. And then it should be pretty much good to go from there. Now, if you're going to be installing a limited slip differential, you would do that before you put the transmission back in, obviously, at that point. But that would be a little bit more detail that I'm probably going to be covering in a future video. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. I just wanted to give you a little idea on what's involved when you convert the transmission from a front-wheel drive car to put it into the MR2. And yes, to show you how bad of the drilling per se it really is, but it's really not involved. That was the whole point. The only things that are left is just going to be the shift shaft seal, the axle seals, and then you're going to be bolting it to this bad boy I got sitting right here. We're just in the process of cleaning it up. Probably make a video on how I'm going to polish the aluminum because I'm probably going to get a couple questions on it. Then we're putting them both into the engine bay just so we can get some wiring done. And I'll also show you what axles I'm going to be running. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe, put that notification on, and I'll see you in the next one.